Circle podcast where hearts unite, sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the call. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is well known. In a circle podcast where hearts unite.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another powerful episode of the Inner Circle Podcast, where we amplify, empower, and elevate voices, stories, and journeys that matter. Tonight, we are joined by Mr. Richelieu Diggs, the founder of Bubba D Sportswear and Things, a proud immigrant-owned business that specializes in custom apparel, screen printing, and embroidery. So, again, our topic tonight is Station the Legacy with Bubba D Sportswear, and we have Mr. Richelieu Diggs in studio. It is the Inner Circle Podcast. It's Wednesday, August 20th. You know, the month is going fast. It's our regular business segment every Wednesday where we bring you entrepreneurs, business owners, or wherein we just talk about, business and finance. So I'm joined by my co-host, Randy. Randy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, AB. Again, welcome, Mr. Diggs. Another insightful session here. Welcome to our listeners, our viewers. Follow us on YouTube, podcast. This is an event that we bring every Wednesday. Just try to highlight, create awareness within our business sector in our community. So thanks again for joining us. Mr. Diggs is our guest, and we look forward to a very insightful conversation here for the next 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. Well, so folks, you can join the conversation by calling our number 952-594-5154 if you have a question for Mr. Diggs, or you can put a comment in the chat. Also, as Randy said, this is an Inner Circle Podcast, a growing community. We are on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or X, wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are all over. So join the movement, growing movement. So again, thank you, folks. Mr. Diggs, welcome to the show. Can you tell us, introduce yourself to our guests, and then we'll get right into things.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara and Mr. White. My name is Richelieu Diggs. I'm originally from the Republic of Liberia, and I've lived in Minnesota now since 1971.
Wow.
I came here as an exchange student, and you guys say, wow. And sometimes when I go to gatherings and people ask, well, how long you been here? And I look at the crowd and I says, maybe we should keep that information private, because if you look at me and you won't know that I've been here since 1971. And most times I say, I was here before you were born. Most of the kids that I talk to. And I tell them, I say, yeah, I was here long before you were born. I know. And some of them also say, I wasn't even born then. I said, well, there you go. That's why I didn't want to answer the question, Anyway, we're still getting along and going forward. So, yeah, my coming to the States was as an exchange student. And of all places, if you know about Duluth, Minnesota, that's why I ended up I came for my last year of high school, and that's why I ended up in Duluth, Minnesota, of all places. So from the tropics to the frigid. But
Wow.
all in all, I survived it, and I'm still here in Minnesota. And I look at Minnesota as my home away from home.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's get to the business. I mean, thank you for for that little intro about you and how obviously you have predated many of us here in Minnesota, so you are a veteran. You are a veteran, obviously. So but let's start with the company of your business, Bubba D Sportswear. What inspired you, and how did you begin?
Um, Bubba D Sportswear and things started around 2009. At
Mm,
first, it was called Casual Expressions,
okay,
and the intention behind it was to put expressions, words, feelings on clothing apparel.
okay,
And then later on, I changed the name to Bubba D Sportswear and things because, like I said, Bubba was my nickname given to me by my mother, and I just added Bubba D Sportswear and things. Bubba stands for Bubba, and then D stands for Diggs. Bubba D Sportswear
okay,
and things. So that's how I got started. It
okay,
came about from me coaching youth soccer. I coached youth soccer in Brooklyn Park. I used to live in Brooklyn Park for many years before I moved to Blaine. And then from Brooklyn Park, I moved here to Blaine and continued to coach youth soccer here in Blaine. Me and my wife, who's not here tonight right now because of a second job, coach youth soccer, and we coached it for about 10, 11 years until the bones got too old to move. Then we had to slow down. So that's how Bubba D came about. First, it was casual expressions, putting expressions on clothing, and then it turned into Bubba D Sportswear. Before, I was just putting names of kids on jerseys and that kind of stuff with the screen printing. But then later on, it evolved into colloquial expressions on clothing.
okay, okay. Okay, Randy.
Um, yeah, and I think this segment is another reminder of why we have this business. We have this show just specifically dedicated to businesses. And I say that just as a reminder. I'm also a soccer fanatic. I play, I coach. I'm actively involved, in it. And sad to say, I haven't heard about your business, but hopefully that's something that we can rectify, because going forward, my organization, we order jerseys. We know a bunch of organizations that order jerseys and things like that. And just listening to you, I would assume that you're in a space of either providing, either designing or printing jerseys. Can you just for myself and our listeners out there, just be very specific in terms of what are your expertise, what are the services you provide, and how could you be of service to the community at large?
Well, we can provide jerseys as well as occasions where, due to bereavement, class reunions, etc., we do screen printing and we do embroidery. We go to the next level where we started off with kids, I say, and
Okay.
then we move into the thing about adults. And Comcast.net in the beginning, I'm not Comcast, but Casual Expressions was the beginning where we just put word on clothing.
Okay.
Like, for example, with the kids, with the jerseys, the kids' mothers and parents said, okay, well, my son is James, and I'd like to put his name on his jersey, on the back of his jersey. Okay, we did that, and then if it came to like where you had one or two James on the team, then we'll put the James for one person and James P for the other person to kind of identify, you know, who they were.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we do jerseys, we do graduation, we can do graduations, we can do everything.
Okay. 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 So the name of the business, Bubba D Sportswear, is just just to kind of personify the name, but you do more than just sportswear. From
Right,
if I'm hearing you correctly.
right. We do more than sportswear. We
Okay.
do, um, I mean, on clothing now. That's what I'm talking about. We do
Sure.
stuff on clothing.
Okay.
We can do the graphic design. If you send us your emblem or logo as to what you want,
Hmm.
we can put it up on what they call a mock-up and send it to you for approval or disapproval or to
For you to kind of review it and give
right.
up. Got
If
it.
if you're familiar with Christiana Daycare in
Yeah.
Crystal,
Yeah.
okay, I do their shirts and hoodies and that kind of stuff for them. So
Oh, okay.
if you go there and ask them, little Christiana called me Mr. Rich, but James and Ophelia Yoga
Yep.
are the proprietors of that organization there, and I work with them and I know them.
So okay, let's thank you for that, Randy. How will you describe your customers base? I know, like obviously, yeah, you just talk about the the daycare in Crystal, but how will you describe your customer base, and how do people, how do customers like interact with your business? Are you, is it like does it have to be a pre-order or I mean, or something, or I mean, how does the whole business model work? Or and how do customers interact with you?
First of all, I have business cards that have my name, address, not my address of my home, but the name of the business and the address where it's found in Blaine, Minnesota.
Okay.
If you are interested in something, you send me your emblem, logo, or whatever it is, and we do a mock up, put it on a piece of paper, and send it back to you for approval or disapproval, for addendum or not,
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, when it's finalized, then we do the printing on t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, etc.
Okay.
Caps. As you can see, one of my caps I got on right now is the Liberian expression. I don't know if you can read it. What kind of trouble this?
Okay.
And if to do a bereavement or any uh, unforeseen circumstances that happen that causes, people to gather. Like when people say, what the American would say, have my sympathy, but the Liberians would say, what kind of trouble this? Unexpected.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Randy.
So you really your process is really meant to kind of highlight the cultural aspect for Liberians, or um, do you tap into other demographic, some other community, and also provide the same services? And the reason why I'm saying that, if you interact with Nigerians,
Mhm.
Nigerians have their own saying, you
Right.
know, they'll say things like "Hey, Oga, howdy, body," and things like that.
Okay.
So, do you also look at personalizing other ethnicity and kind of their tongue on their attire as well?
Yes, actually, I do have some products that were printed for. like the ECOWAS states.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Okay. And if a Jamaican or somebody came up to us and say, I want this done,
You're right.
or somebody from East Africa came up and said, I want this done because I've done something for a lady from Uganda before.
Mm-hmm.
If they come up and say, I want this done, the process is send it to me. I'll see if I can do it. And if I can do it, I'll send you a picture of what it should look like. And then we'll go from there. Right now, I'm not on the ground. When I say on the ground, I'm mobile with my products. That's how I was over at Little Africa Fair.
Mm.
I do not have a specific address for a business location because if you inquire about spaces for lease and rent,
Expensive.
they're terrible.
Yeah.
There are places that I would like to. In fact, I'm looking at the one now here in Blaine near the Cup Food on University, but the cost for those places are way too exorbitant.
Mm.
I looked at one place at in Blaine near Jersey Mike, and they were asking for 8 grand a month. Now,
Wow.
I can't, yeah, depends on where you look. I can't guarantee that I will make 8 grand a month to be able to pay my mortgage. I mean my lease and utilities, etc., etc. So that's why I'm mobile and I'm on. I go to. Excuse me, I had an interrupting call here. I go to all these little fairs. A few weeks ago, we're in Delano. We're in Brooklyn Park for the 26th, but the schedule was screwed up. Last year, we were there at the OLM headquarters. This year, the schedule was screwed up because I should have been there on Saturday and Sunday. But I was only told about the Sunday one because of finances. So that's why I wasn't there on Saturday. Otherwise, if you guys were there on Saturday, you would have seen my tent set up and you would have seen some of the Nigerian, like you are talk about Nigerian, the Nigerian will have to send me their expression so I can say,
Sure.
yes, I can do it. No, I can't do it. But I do have some expression from Liberia. I mean, if you look on my website, which is www.Bubba D Sportswear and Things, which is all one word.com,
Um,
you will see some of the things I've done. I've got for Liberia, how to make monkey eat pepper, what fun to snake, death to a frog, to crab, crawfish drink water, etc., etc. So,
So you have these proverbs that you're able to really, bring out
right,
uh, through your clothing expression, which is cool. One
right,
of the things we like to highlight, during this section when it comes to businesses is just the formidity of business and the fact that we want to make sure that um, we're highlighting successful and thriving businesses in our community. You said something that really turned out the light in my mind is you mentioned as you're evaluating and looking for potential places for you to lease.
hmm
You mentioned one place charging you $8,000.
They
For
were
me,
asking, they were asking 8,000, but I didn't go there.
right, you didn't go there. But for me, what that tells me is that you're doing your due diligence. And
Right,
and and a lot of times, the reason why we don't have businesses that last long in our community is because of the lack of due diligence. Now, you could have made a decision and say, you know what? Yeah, give me that space, that $8,000, and then next thing you know, you've already bite off more than you can chew, and you're not
exactly.
generating that. So, can you just tell us a little bit about, where did you get that kind of awareness? Where did you get that kind of approach where you're able to evaluate and understand exactly what your budget is and
Oh,
what may be feasible or not, because not too many people in our community do that.
from my upbringing, okay.
Okay.
My father was an attorney. My mother worked at the post office back home, and they instilled in me: do not hang your hat where your hand cannot reach. So those are things I try to live by.
Okay.
I try to live on a daily basis by, and I don't jump the ladder. I take life one day at a time, one step at a time, like
Got
baby.
it.
Okay,
Got it.
you got to
Got it.
crawl before you walk.
Right.
So that's my approach to life.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work, then I know it wasn't meant for me.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, besides the challenges you're facing with, finding a space,
Hmm.
what other challenges are you facing, in terms of trying to scale the business? Because obviously, right now, right, you do have customers, but you would definitely love to scale. Whatever
Right.
challenge, I mean, what other challenges besides space? What other challenges are you facing, that is hindering your growth?
Well, for one thing is the
Okay.
financial.
Okay.
Like I said, for example, to deal with the space situation. I mean, if it were possible, if land was 50 cents an acre, like it used to be, some places we know, I could buy my own land and try to put up my own structure there. But the biggest challenge for me is the financial side of it. I started off as a individual business, small business, with very little capital. Whatever capital we have
Sure.
invested in the
Hmm.
business comes out of the pocket of me and my wife both working.
Okay.
She works and she does the administrative side of it for me, helping with that. And I do the interaction with people and presenting the idea to people. So
Okay.
that
So how will you describe then? Obviously you said the financial side. I mean, you've been in business in 2009.
mhm.
How will you say, like, in terms of revenue, like annual revenue, and as like, is there any kind of a reinvestment into the business? How profitable is the business, I guess?
It's always a reinvestment for us because we haven't gotten to the point where we can grab a big contract like from some place that would say we'll pay you $100,000 to make X amount of shirts.
Okay.
We have to reinvest the money as we produce, we sell, and a little bit of profit we take, pay some bills, and then reinvest into the business.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know,
Randy, yeah, Randy, go ahead.
you know, this is really unique because this is not a business. This is not a business that would really catch my mind. But the fact of the matter is, so if you see me right now, I'm wearing my smart lending shirt, and so interestingly, my wife's friend does a similar business, and so
Did you say Mende?
no, smart lending.
Oh, smart mending. Okay.
Yeah. So I was invited to an event, and I decided to wear a branded attire. So I
Hmm.
quickly reached out to my wife and asked her, "Hey, you know anyone that can print a shirt?" And then she reached out to one of her friends that was able to provide me the services for me to get the shirt that I went to this event for. Today.
Hmm.
Now, anytime there's a business, there's an investment made. There's always some type of interest. What of all the businesses out there, all the business idea, what really drawn you to this one particularly? And the fact that you've been doing this since 2009 tells me that it has to be some level of passion, because you mentioned you're not making much money from it. So why do you continue to keep it running?
Well, for two reasons. One, with the expressions that I have nowadays, is to make people aware of the Republic of Liberia.
Okay.
Most people don't know about Liberia, except, well, let's back up. When I first came to the state of Minnesota, there were 28 Liberians in the whole state. That includes north, south, east, west. But now you know there are like, I don't know, 30,000 of us here or
I
more.
think I think we're pushing 40.
What has drawn what? Okay, well, I didn't want to over exaggerate, but mostly what has kept me going is the desire to put Liberia on the world map,
Got it.
make people aware of the country that is called Liberia, and also to make them aware that even though we had a civil war, etc., coup d'etat, and all that kind of stuff, we're all still one people. We have all come across the Atlantic in pursuit of life, happiness, etc. And we should make known that to people that, hey, this is where I'm from and this is where I'm proud of being from.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing for me, so let's assume like, you got a lot of like organizations here, right? Like Randy was just, talking about, let's assume like, Cycle Podcast, yeah, hey, we want to do some t-shirts, right? First of
Yeah.
all, what are your pricing? I mean, how much do you charge per shirt? Like, I mean, for a t-shirt or maybe for a hat or maybe for any kind of a souvenir. How much? I mean, let's start from there, from the t-shirt to a souvenir. What are your prices?
It depends. It
Okay, tell us
depends.
more. It
And
depends.
I
It depends
say it
on what.
depends on, for the screen printing, one, the number of prints you want on there, two, the number of colors, three, the quantity of shirts or garments or whatever it is, the quantity of caps or whatever, it depends on those factors. And it also depends on the turnaround time. We are usually 2 to 3 weeks turnaround time for production. If you come and tell me you want it tomorrow, I will tell you thank you, but I can't help you. Because, first of all, you have to procure your products, you have to certify your logo, emblem, or whatever you want to call it, and then we go from there. So, to give you a price, right now, the retail price for some of my products are like $20 for shirts, t-shirts. I'm sorry. And like I said, the ones with the Liberian expressions on them, crab, crawfish, they are like $20. It involves a lot of artwork. The graphic art is the one that costs the money too. And then from that, then you got to go to the number of screens you have to print to make for printing. If you want a thing with 3, 4 color screen, you got to make a screen for each color.
So all things being equal, then I mean, all things being equal, right? Let's assume like you say, okay, the turnaround time is 3 weeks, maybe one out, maybe 100 t-shirts and stuff like that. How much? Because I'm gathering here, you do bulk, you do like maybe consignment, right? It's
We
like,
do
yeah, I
bulk.
mean, you do, yeah, bulk. So it's like all things being equal. Let's say like, Cycle Podcast, one like 100 t-shirts, your turnaround time, okay, 3 weeks, fine.
Mhm.
How much would that go for?
Well, you got to tell me like what you want on the shirt.
Okay, Cycle Podcast logo.
You want one color, or you want 2 colors, or you want 3 colors?
Okay. Well, what we
Yeah,
have
you
here,
see,
right?
you see.
Well,
Now,
well,
the colors, is it the colors you're referring to? Is that the coloration of the logo or the color of the shirts?
No, the coloration of the logo. We're
The
talking about the
coloration of the
logo.
logo. Got it.
Yeah.
Got
If the logo is just one plain simple color,
it.
I
Right.
can get you a shirt for maybe 8, $10. But
mm,
if you're gonna get 2, 3, 4 colors, then it's 15. I mean, it's a screen for each color, and the
Okay.
screens usually cost around 25, $30 per screen.
Okay. Okay. So the more, I mean, the more the coloration of the emblem or the logo, the higher the price I take.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, do
And
you
also, and also, the more the bulk,
the
the
cheaper
lower
the cost?
the price comes down.
Sure. So
You
one of the
understand?
things, yeah, one of the things I'm familiar with is tier pricing. So tier
Yeah.
pricing is where you have quantity,
Right.
um, because if you going to procure your raw materials as well, and you're ordering in bulk, I'm sure your vendors are going to be giving you cheaper, cheaper prices, which would allow you to pass that discount down to your customers. Quick question: Do you operate off MOQ, like minimum order? Is there a specific quantity that you would just turn away?
Well, usually I like to do what they call baker's dozen or 12 to 13 shirts.
Okay.
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 The regular dozen or what we call baker's dozen because baker means 13.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the minimum quantity you would do for order.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah. So anyone coming to you with maybe one, two, or three quantity, that's not your,
Well,
that's
I can do it, but the price would be higher for
yeah.
it's almost like a prototype, price.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense.
the so like Bubba's D Sportswear and things, what
Bubba.
would current
Yeah,
customers
just call it Bubba. Bubba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bubba D Sportswear and things,
Yeah.
okay. We're looking for a review, like maybe Cycle Podcast want to do a business review, and we'll go on your website or go on Google, reviews and stuff like that. What would current customers says about you and your business?
Well, I can tell you, thus far, since I've been doing it, there were two issues that came up.
Mm,
One was I did some what we call we have the civil session,
mm-hmm,
which is every day you and me talk, okay, and then we have an adult section. And one person complained the other day at the fair from Delano
mm,
that they had a problem with my T-shirt, and they washed it, and apparently, sorry, I live by an airport,
no, no, you're good, you're good.
so uh, they complained that the shirt shrunk, and sent back to them, and I says, okay, did you follow the washing instructions? Because we tell all our people, and we have washing instructions that we put in the bag, including a souvenir pen that I'm holding in my hand here, that tell them, hey, machine wash cold, low heat dry, or hang dry, depending on your choice. So this process must I put it in wash it in hot water,
Okay.
so it shrunk. Most of our stuff is pre-shrunk already, but this person must have put it in hot water, and I sent them back. I says, okay, what do you want me to do? Let's meet, and I will exchange the shirt for you. No, I don't want anything from you, but they kept whining. So I said, the only thing I can do for you is let's meet someplace. I'll give you your new shirt. You give me the one so I can take it back. And I'll talk to my producer who does my screen printing, and he told me, says, this is the first time that ever happened. That person must have not followed the washing instructions and did it in, but I was willing to exchange it. The second thing was I told you I have an adult section. It was a shirt that a woman saw on my website, which I removed because I didn't want to run business away. And it was an adult shirt for that she saw there, and she said she was going to buy shirts from me, but she wrote in my comment that she won't do it because of the shirt that she saw. So that's why I removed it from the website. It was on the website, and I removed it from there because I didn't want anybody else. But then I've been at fairs where people have come by and said, "Okay, I want to look at your shirt." I said, "Go ahead, but be careful. We have an adult section in the back." And people have said, "Okay, I see the adult section, but I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a matter of expression, you know. If you want to express yourself vulgarly or you want to use that for a joke or whatever, that's okay." Those are the
Okay.
only two complaints I've had. So,
Okay, Randy.
Sounds good. You've mentioned fairs quite a bit since we started. It seems like you really put a lot of emphasis on going to these marketing events.
right.
You yeah, and that's this is coming from someone who don't do much marketing when it comes to my brand of business. A lot of my clientels are much more word of mouth and referral, but I'm looking to step out and get into that uncomfort zone of going out there and really driving my business. What would you recommend as far as how do I get visibility to some of these fairs you've mentioned specifically in Minnesota? Like
Well,
how do you know about these things? How do you get knowledge? How do you get knowledge about these events and when they're being held?
there's a line, not a line, but a website that you can go for fairs in Minnesota.
Okay,
And they will tell you where all the fairs are, how much they charge, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
nice.
Okay.
And
Now,
yeah, just
I go mobile because, like I said, I don't have a permanent location. So that's why I
Okay,
own wheels and I go to all these fairs.
okay. So just Google fairs in Minnesota and I
Yeah,
can.
cool.
Okay,
My wife knows like I said, she's the secretarial part of it, but she knows exactly where we look to find out about these fairs, how much they
okay.
cost, what date they're on, etc., etc.
Good, good.
so with those fairs then, right? I do you have to apply to be a vendor to I mean, do you have
Yes,
to apply to be a vendor and then pay a fee and
yes,
then go there? So okay,
yes.
so basically that's how you are doing your outreach, your marketing and your outreach.
Right,
That's how
right.
I mean that's one of the primary way. But I just come to the African immigrant community, as a or maybe the immigrant community, as I mentioned earlier, Sacco Park, yeah, this is where we amplify, empower, and elevate immigrant businesses, immigrant individuals, and stuff like that, especially, our immigrant community. When it comes to how I mean, you talk about all of the Liberian expressions you have. How are you doing outreach to the Liberian community? Because, I mean, you and Randy say here up to 50 or 40 or 30,000 adherents, but the numbers could be anywhere, in any range. Right? There are a lot of African immigrants say, how are you doing outreach to them, right?
Okay.
I mean, to market yourself.
To market myself, I have two methods
Mm.
thus far. One, I produce flyers.
Okay,
So when people come and buy a shirt from me, I put a flyer in the bag with the instructions on how to take care of the garment. And I also give a pen that has my website and all that kind of stuff on it. And in the past, I've also used calendars. I've ordered calendars with my name, website, and all that kind of stuff on it. And I've given them to people. So I just, not just, but at the beginning of the year, I took some calendars because I usually get them in January. But now I just received something in my mail the other day about calendars for 2026. And I'm ordering some. And I took them to OLM headquarters. That's where I did my first batch. I got a business card that has my name, address, phone number, etc. I used word of mouth also. Okay. And I always tell people the thing that really makes a business go is mostly word of mouth. You tell me, I tell you, you tell somebody else, and it comes back to jackpot. But my calendars, my word of mouth, my pens, my business cards are all things, methods that I use to reach people.
Okay. Okay. The other thing, right? What sets your business apart, from other folks that are doing screen printing
Yeah.
and embroidery? What sets you apart from other businesses like you?
Well, I don't know if it's anything in particular that sets me apart except for the fact that I'm doing it with ECOWAS things as compared to the whole Africa. I'd like to do the whole continent of Africa, east, west, north, south, but I have to be able to obtain information from people from different places that want to buy things from me. I mean,
Okay.
it's even gotten to the point where, okay, I went to school in Liberia, and I used to be good in French. I learned French in school. I was not from Guinea or Ivory Coast or any of those places, but my name is a French name, and where my parents got that name from, I guess that was the blessing for me to be able to excel in the French language in high school. So
Okay. Okay. Randy.
Yeah. So if you, I mean, I would assume that you have a very diverse portfolio of products of different items.
mhm,
If you were to just take a rough guess,
mhm.
of all of the items, which one makes up the most in terms of items that you either print or sold? Is it the shirts? Is it the hoodie? Is it the hats? Which one makes up the most?
It depends on the day of the week, my brother,
So
because
let's say
because
over the last year.
uh-huh. Over the last year, I've sold T-shirts, I've sold hoodies, I've sold sweatshirts, I've sold caps. It
I
depends
guess
on the.
what
That's
I
why
guess
I'm
what
saying.
Randy is driving at. I guess what Randy is driving at, right? You have been in business in 2009,
Right?
right? That's something like for 2024.
Yeah,
If you look at your product line, right?
yeah, yeah.
What are those products? The T-shirt, the hood. What are those? What are the best sellers? Basically, what are the best sellers in
Right.
2024? Which product were the best sellers in 2024?
In 2024 were my T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Okay.
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 Now
Okay.
let me tell you also. I just got back from a funeral in New Jersey,
Mm.
and of course I walked there with one of my Liberian cap that said "No Maya." And before this person even found out my name, she came to me and started talking about she liked my cap. And I said, "Yeah, I do have it." I give her my card. I give her information about it, and I told her what my website was. So, like I say, it depends on the week. Some days you sell T-shirts. Some days when it's hot, you sell T-shirts.
Sure.
When it's cold, you
You
sell
sell.
hoodies. You know,
Got it.
it
Got
depends on
it.
the day of the week and where you are.
Got it. Now, one of the things that have become a staple is, just in the Liberian community when it comes to the 26th is everybody donning a Liberian independence wear,
Hmm.
uh, printed shirts, different designs. I would assume that the 26th represent a busy time for you. Would you agree?
It has not been because I was trying to get a contract with OLM, who has their business sent out to somebody else for the T-shirt,
Okay.
but I didn't get the contract for them. And I don't want to infringe on somebody's what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to. I don't want to
Like, is it
come
is
up
it is it an
to
intellectual property?
infringe on for somebody's what do you call it, for printing rights.
Okay, like intellectual property, things like that.
Right. If somebody else came up, I did make some shirts for July 26th of this year, but like I
Okay,
said, I didn't sell them because I got mixed up on the days when I was supposed to have been there. I mean, I
got it.
Yeah,
made some
but
shirts for Liberia 26 that says Happy Independence,
Got it.
okay. Okay. Well,
etc.
folks, tonight we are discussing Station of Legacy with Bubba D Sportswear and things. We have the owner here, Richelieu Diggs. He's in studio with us, talking about his business, how long he's been in business, the challenges the business faces, and things like that. So you can contribute to this conversation by putting a comment in the chat or calling our number 952-594-5154. I guess I would like to stick to that whole July 26th thing. Right? You've been doing this since 2009. Liberia has the highest population of Liberians outside of like Minnesota has the highest population of Liberians outside of Liberia. How come you are not? I know, obviously, the last couple of July 26 have not been that organized, but OLM is not. I know. You said you try to get a contract this year of OLM, but how come you're not tapping more into that? Because to run this point, July 26 is becoming more of a cultural expression, right? Where when that time is coming, people are buying merchandise, they are buying T-shirts, they are buying caps, they are buying different things. So it's not like a lot of vendors are taking advantage of that. How come you're not tapping more, leaning more into that?
I'm not leaning into. I have not leaned into that because of the fact that I didn't want to infringe on somebody's copyright uh, for production.
Mm.
Okay,
And over the years, OLM has had people who they have contacted about who they want to buy from. So I can't jump in there and say, okay, you got to buy from me.
Yeah, but the
You know.
point I'm trying to drive it right, it's not about O&M, right? Yeah, selling to the community. O&M is
Well,
there. O&M are contract, maybe a specific vendor to do their specific, merchandise. But a community, I mean, to run this point again, I'm trying to drive around this point here, right? The community is a growing community, it's all
right,
over. It's becoming like a cultural thing where people are looking for like brand merchandise to buy.
right.
Why are you not leaning into that? I don't think it has anything to do with anybody infringement or copyright infringement or trying to be on
well,
somebody's turf.
if somebody makes a shirt that looks like mine, or I make a shirt that looks like somebody's, that could be legal issues. Yes, I have not jumped into the Liberian community as much as I should have, but I am not going to. I'm not going to say that it's because I'm not involved with the Liberian community or I don't want to get involved in the commerce from the Liberian community. No, I'm just picking my time as to when it's fruitful for
Okay.
me to jump in there.
Yeah, and I can definitely appreciate that. I mean, this is the country of legality. I
Right,
mean,
right, right. You know,
you go out, you walk outside your house, you sneeze on somebody, that's the they can sue you. So
exactly.
I definitely understand. So now let me ask a similar question, but more so in a self protected way. You're coming up with an approach that's very unique, where you're taking all of our colloquial slang and putting it on a tire. Like you mentioned, just the fact that you went to a funeral and you have the hat that said Nawama. I
Hmm.
mean, that's not something that most people would think about. How are you? What steps are you taking to protect your intellectual property?
Well, my intellectual property, when I started out and I tried to get a trademark on my property, on my things that I'm making, trademark registration.
Mhm.
Okay. And I did get one,
Okay.
but people can, like you say, somebody can make a copy if the letter Y look like you on there,
Yeah.
it's different. It's not yours. So, you know,
Have you had that experience where you had something unique, branded, and by the time you make up your mind, how other people start jumping into it?
No, I haven't had that experience, especially with the colloquial saying that I have on my shirts now, like the crab coffee, drink water, etc.
Okay,
I haven't had that. I haven't had that kind of negative experience, and I don't wish to run into that boat because law
okay,
law student in this country is not cheap. So, and I don't want
sure,
nobody suing me because then I will be liable to them.
sure.
So when you look at when you look at your business, I mean the apparel is a tough business, right? The margin on it is not huge, right? When you look at your business, where do you see yourself? I mean, you've been doing this now since 2009. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I tell you, I started doing this as a hobby because of putting kids' names on the jerseys, me and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
This was not a thing that I was planning on doing until I woke up and I saw the light with these Liberian expressions.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, at first it was called casual expressions. I was just putting anything on clothes. I love you, you love me, like that. It didn't have anything specifically to do with Liberia. It was just a general thing. But now that I've got my name on my product, hold on one second. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my wife. She's just coming. So
Okay.
now that I've got um, now that I've got a hold on things, I don't want to step out of bounds or cause any problem or any creation. It started off just as a casual, fun, what you call it thing, hobby.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it started from, as a hobby. Then the idea came to me about the making the general garments. Then the idea came to me later on about doing the Liberian expressions.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's come in stages to me.
If a investor or bank approach you right now, what are your capital needs? I know you talk about finance. You talk about the difficulty of obtaining finance cash.
Yeah.
What are your capital needs right now? What are your capital needs? If a bank or investor come to you, what are your capital needs? What do you need to scale?
Well, I would need. We're talking maybe at least 400, $500,000.
And why? And if you
What
need $400,000, $500,000, what's the ballpark? Right? We don't want you. We are not. I'm not here to ask you for any specific figure. I know when it comes to Liberian, sometimes we kind of a buck at that. But if I want to invest in your business and you say, hey, okay, you need 400 to 500,000, I
Well,
want to say, okay, what numbers are we working off of to need that? I mean, such a capital infusion.
I will give you the numbers if you wanted to invest, and I will also tell you the primary purpose for me doing this is to have a place, a permanent place on the ground rather than mobile. If there's a permanent place on the ground and not going here to there to there to there to these fairs, then people can always come back and say, okay, he has an address here. Let's go check his store. Let's go inspect it and let's see what he's got on the shelf or on the mannequins or whatever. And then we go from there.
Okay, Randy.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, a little bit of a similar question. Obviously, technology has and continue to impact just about every and all industry.
Hmm.
Uh, how has technology either aided or provided challenges to your business, and how do you go about identifying who are your competitors, and what leverage do you pull to either make your business much more appealing? I know you mentioned the colloquy and stuff like that, but is there anything else that you
Well,
do? But the
there
first
are
thing,
nowadays you got AI, artificial intelligence. Okay.
Okay.
And my wife and I have used through the teaching of someone AI to like show some of the things that we made. But the problem we had with that was if we made a shirt that was like purple, okay, and we tried to do the AI color thing to match it, it didn't come out exactly as purple.
Mm,
It came out as a different shade of purple, maybe, or black or blue or something. So
okay.
most of our stuff, we've tried the AI color scheme and that kind of stuff to work with it, but it doesn't always come out. So if you're gonna order a shirt from me, and I got listed in my website as a blue shirt, and I send it to you, and you look at it and you go, no, this is not what I ordered.
Mm,
Of course, you're gonna put it back in the mail and say return to sender.
yeah.
And if you say return to sender, then that involves refund of money and all of that good stuff. So
Okay. Now, what about logistics? How do you who are your logistical partners? Is it the USPS, the UPS, FedEx? How,
USP, I've always used USPS, United States Postal Service, and that's for
okay,
things I sent to Tennessee, things I sent to uh, what's that girl? North Carolina.
okay.
I use the U.S. United States Postal Service.
So USPS is your go-to. Is that more so from a cost conscientious decision? Is it because it's cheaper, the most cheapest option, or just something
What
you've always referred
you
to?
can't you can't say it's cheaper because where it's going to decides how much it costs.
Sure.
So if I'm sending a shirt to Wisconsin from Minnesota, it might cost me maybe $10 as an example. But if I'm
Okay.
sending it to Tennessee or California, it might cost me 15, 20, $25, you know?
Sure. And one more question before I swing it back over to AB.
Mhm.
Now, when you look at your costs, when you look at your cost of goods sold, when it comes to the logistics, the logistical aspect of it, do you pass that on to the customer, or is that included
Well,
in the price?
go ahead. Nowadays, we have to pass things on to customers because of the tariff. Things have gone up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I did tell my customer who I did, like I told you about Christina Daycare. They said they wanted some hoodies. I told them, I said, you got to hurry up and do it because Mr. Trump's tariff is affecting everybody. So prices will go up.
Okay.
So,
Let's talk about capacity. If
mhm.
someone if you get a contract, someone want a 2000 t-shirt,
Yeah,
do you have the capacity to do that?
yes. But
Okay.
like I said,
I-
that's why we require a 2 to 3 week turnaround period.
5,000 t-shirts. Do you have the capacity to do that?
Yes.
So what is your at the stage you are? I get what I'm driving at the stage you are, right? It's like obviously at the stage you are, since 2009 you've been in the business, you've been doing this business. At the stage you are, what is your highest capacity in terms of your merchandise, right? It's like what's the highest order can you handle?
Well, put it this way, I can handle maybe up to 100,000 t-shirts
Mm,
because to get the garment first of all and the logo and all of that, decide on. Oops, sorry, I'm losing my. Oh, someone say your battery is running low. Okay.
okay, okay.
All right. So to get the number of shirts to do, we have to make an arrangement because if it's that big of a quantity, it will have to take more than 2 to 3 weeks because then it will have to be done in batches. So if you want 100,000 t-shirt, okay, maybe I can do it like 10 batches to ship to you. But it will come in batches. It will not come all at once because I won't have I don't what you call it thing keeps that much stock on hand.
Mm, interesting. Okay,
Because
interesting.
if you get too much stock and you don't use it, it's no good. Or you hope for another contract to come out that may require the same thing, but most times people don't want the same color. They want something different. And also, there's a restocking fee on those things. So that's why.
Hmm.
Okay, Randy.
Do you for large orders? Do you have like down payment policy where if your order exceeds certain monetary threshold, like let's say
Mhm.
I'm ordering something over $5,000, would you say, hey, I mean, at least put 30% down or something like that?
Yes, we do have a percentage. Usually, what we ask
Okay,
is 50% down and 50% on completion.
on completion.
Yeah.
Okay, and the completion is would be completion of the work order, not necessarily shipment. Right before you ship, you will require full. You will require payment to be made in
To,
full.
to begin the work, yes. And
Okay,
then when we complete the work, we'll call you and say, hey, we got your whatever number of t-shirts you wanted done,
right.
and we need the other 50% paid. Because if we got to ship it out of state, we got to pay for shipping.
Okay, okay. And what's your what is your refund or return policy look like? Because I know some e-commerce places like they're like 7 days, 14 days, 10 days. Do you have a refund or return policy?
Yeah, ours is usually 10 days.
Okay.
And that's why this person who I said about called me about the t-shirt that we made for them that shrunk,
Uh-huh.
they were here at a fair in Minnesota. And that's why I suggested, since it's in Minnesota here, I would drive to meet you
Okay.
wherever you if but I think my personal opinion is I think
Hmm.
they backed away because they did the wrong thing for laundry.
Got it.
Instead of washing it in cool water, they washed it in hot water, so it shrunk. And maybe
Okay.
who knows? They probably put it in the dryer on high heat too.
The other thing is, you have mentioned Christina Dick here a couple of times. Is it like, do you have a signed contract with them that anytime they want to do that, like any kind of a merchandise, is it you that they come to do their T-shirts or to do their hoodies or to do their, whatever?
No, we don't have a signed contract. They just verbally send me, I mean, not verbally, but they send me a text, not text, yeah, text to from Christina, the daughter who does the purchasing. And she said,
I think they probably
Yeah, I think his internet went off, but it's I mean, his battery have probably died. But there's it's a good conversation, right? It's like, we've been having on this segment, a small business, trying to scale. But again, he's in a very, very tough line of business. That kind of business. Number one, the margin is low. It's very competitive. And you brought up about the whole new technology thing.
yeah.
You
Because essentially what people are doing now,
yeah, yeah,
they spend 1 or 2 hours just knowing how to do the design.
yeah,
And all you
yeah.
need to do is pick the design, pick the color of the shirt, and send it to somebody who does the printing. The person
Mm.
printed it, send it to you,
With,
and then you
with
just send it to somebody else.
Well, Canvas, right? Even with Canvas, where a lot of people are getting into that line of thing where you can go and design anything,
Yeah.
and then let's go push it to you. But it just shows, and I think that's what the importance of this segment and every Wednesday we are having, right? There are a lot of small businesses in the community that that have the right intention, have the right mindset, maybe have the right mission or have the right vision. But it's
Right.
just a tough environment to do business in, right? Especially like, again, the whole issue about scaling, we really, really struggle with that in our community. And it's due to so many other factors.
True. True. There are is multifaceted. But one of the distinction that I've hung on to is being um, being intentional about what it
Mhm.
is that you want to do.
Yeah.
There's certain level of conviction that when,
Mhm.
if you're moving with, like, things starts to happen for
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
within our community. And something that I think this segment intends on changing is we're too casual when it comes to business.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we wait for things to happen for
Mhm.
us
Mhm.
rather than being intentional and saying, listen, these are my goals,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
last time we talked about one of the segment, I talked about collecting data,
Yeah.
right? You
Mhm.
understand, okay, I'm going to X, Y, and Z, shows. Each
Yeah.
show that I go to, I have a target number of orders that I would like to see,
Yeah.
right? I want
Mhm.
to see, us grow not in revenue or in POs year over year, month over month, right?
Yeah.
What was our actual last month and how are we performing this month,
And
right?
that's a great point you just brought up, right? Because Mr. Diggs talked about fairs here many times. It will be interesting to know, is he collecting data on
Right.
those,
Yeah.
these, because obviously, it's our one of our panelists, Andrea, who's the one when she was at a Little Africa festival or fair, when she encountered Mr. Diggs, she said she loved his products, she loves, and then they chatted. But it's interesting to, to kind of pick his brain on that. Is he collecting data
Yeah.
when he goes to these venues,
Yeah.
to these fairs,
Yeah.
to these festivals, right? Is he like, because it's not just maybe into, I don't know, people, number one, how many t-shirts or how many merchandise did you sell? It's like, from there, like at each fairs, right? And then what it is that keep bringing maybe your customers back, or folks back,
Exactly.
what
Exactly.
I mean, to you. So it will be
Exactly.
interesting to know that. But we're about to bring Mr. Diggs in studio. I think he got his well, and then from there we'll try to wrap this segment up. It's a 1 hour segment. It's been a good conversation. Obviously, folks, this is how we are learning about our community, about business owners, about
Right.
entrepreneurs in our community. The
Right.
hustle here is real. The hustle is definitely real. So
Absolutely, my man.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Say, I'm sorry, I got disconnected because my
No,
battery was
no, no, no. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
okay.
You're good.
So, so what
Yeah.
was the question again? Now, the
Yeah.
last question.
Yeah, so let's just try to, there's a 1 hour show as what we promise our, our audience and then to our guests to be obviously time sensitive. We'll go few more minutes and then we'll try to wrap it up. But I think you were in the middle of talking about I honestly don't remember. I know, Randy, do you recall? I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought with that one. But I
Yeah.
do have one. I do have one question. As you were looking to get logged back in, you obviously your business model right now you're mobile, and so you go to a lot of shows and fairs. Do
Right.
you have a way of evaluating what is your return on your investment of going? Because obviously going registering for those fair is cost. It requires cost. So do you evaluate cost analysis as to, hey, this makes sense for me to go to this fair? I can anticipate getting XYZ customer. I can anticipate getting XYZ interaction. Do you have such a mechanism set up?
Uh, Mechanism. I don't know. This is what I do.
Okay.
We go, we apply for these fairs, and they say X amount of dollars.
Okay.
Okay. We go there anticipating to sell more than what the fair cost us.
Got it. Okay.
And if it costs us, I mean, I can tell you one one situation that there was a fair in St. Paul, and we're going to another one here in St. Paul shortly, where we came out. The cost was like we were $50 short of what it cost us to go to the fair, but at least we made most of
Okay.
the money back.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Got it. So
I
at
think
least you have a baseline. If a fare costs you $100, you at least like to generate $100
A
at that
hundred or fifty.
$100 or 50 more than for
Right,
at that event. Got it.
right, right.
Okay.
There's one fair. There's one fair that we went to, and it was in Cottage Grove, and we was doing some hot days, and not only us, but people next to us, business were saying they're not going back there because they didn't even make the money to what it cost them for
God,
the fair.
But right to that though, right, it's not only the cost of the fare, right? I mean, you have the cost of the t-shirt. That's just the cost of the fare now become an extra cost. So are you, even if you go there to sell to sell it, are you, based on what you pay for the cost of the fare, are you factoring in, is it an extra markup?
For the products.
Yeah.
No, we have a fixed price for the products, and we go and put signs up and say t-shirt is $20. This
But
cap.
why if you sign up for the fare? That's when you pay $100 for the fare and you don't
Mhm.
make the $100. So are you saying that number
That's a
one,
loss. That's a
you lost
loss.
money?
That's a loss I absorb. What can I do?
But that's just your extra cost, though. I mean, that's just maybe what I'm trying to drive at. That's just because the fare becomes the fee of the fare becomes an extra cost on top of what you are,
Right.
on top of everything you put into the product,
Yeah, but
right?
that's what we got our prices set to where we
I
charge a certain amount for t-shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie, etc.
So based on your current business model right now, if I'm getting it right, because right now you go to a lot of fairs, you go to a lot of festivals, you already factor in the cost of those fairs or those festivals. That's already factor into
Right.
your merchandise or your product.
Yeah, your
Right.
current price.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Randy, as I said, it's a 1 hour show. We'll try to, wrap this up. So I will give you opportunity to ask, two more questions.
Yeah, at you, again, pleasure having you and learning about your business model. Um, and I know you mentioned desire to have a footprint, to have a store.
Right.
As part of your plan, are you also looking at doing something from a production perspective? Are you looking at having your own printers? Are you looking to have your own like employees?
That's
Is
why
that,
that's why when somebody asks about money financially,
uh-huh,
I said about $500,000. That would include space for leasing for X number of years.
uh-huh.
That would include my own machines.
Okay.
And they got different kinds of machines out there. They got one that they call direct to transfer. They got the screen printing one that is controlled by it's fully automated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's highly efficient.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if I had those equipments, then prices might probably come down because the price of the shirt and me making them rather than contracting somebody to make them could make a difference.
Got it. Got it. Okay. No, that's it. That's it. AB. Back to you.
Okay. When people wear your like your t-shirts or your hoodies,
Mhm.
what do you hope they get from that experience?
One, to learn where I'm from, or where Liberia is, I should say. Two, especially they educated because there's some people, like for example, I gave you the shirt with the how to make monkey eat pepper. Okay. There've been some Americans, white, black, blue, green, all. Okay. What does this mean? What does this mean? Then I have to explain to
Explain.
them. And I try to educate them too so that they know. You see, me being at these fairs, I'm a school bus driver by profession. So me being at these fairs doesn't only isn't only to make money but to interact with people. I'm a people person.
Mm.
There's some people have told come and talked to me and my wife and told us this one guy came one time and asked me what he bought a spiritual T-shirt from us, one that said with Jesus Christ, and then the Bible verse on it was like the Beatitudes, blessed are the poor in spirit, for they shall inherit the earth. Okay? And he bought it from me. He said, but I don't know why I'm still on this earth. Because he said, I've had cancer, I've been to jail, I've done this, I've done that, and that. And I said to him, I said, look, my brother, when the old man is ready for you, he will call you. So you must not have accomplished your mission on earth here like you think you have. When it's your time, he will say, okay, well done.
Okay, okay. My last question to you,
Mm-hmm.
what keeps you going? And I mean, after all these years, right? What keeps you going? And what do you think the future holds
Well,
for your business?
it does. What keeps me going is one, I'm a person who believes in creative thinking.
Mm,
Two, I sit up many nights when I'm supposed to be asleep. My wife say your brain's still turning about this, that, and the other. And then when I talk to her and I say I got that idea, she go, "Oh God, no, I'm just a creative thinker. I don't like what you call it. There's no point in my life where I've been stagnant or no stagnation. Don't move forward, don't progress. I fall down, I get up. I stop, I go. That's my life.
okay,
So
okay. Well, Mr. Dix, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure learning about you, about your business, about everything you've been through, about the challenges, about the opportunities, that you have for the business. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Inner Circle podcast. I said wherein we highlight businesses like you, your struggles, things that you're going through and everything, businesses like in our community. That's why this segment is here for every Wednesday. So thank you so much for taking up your business schedule. Obviously, you got a lot on your plate to join us tonight. We definitely appreciate it. And we hope, maybe you can make this your home and you can come back and we can learn more about Bubba D Sportswear and things. It's been a pleasure. Randy,
okay.
last word. Any last word from you, Randy?
Yeah, thanks again, Mr. Diggs. Certainly appreciated the opportunity to highlight, to the African community and the immigrant community what you're doing, and certainly wish you the best. Appreciate you coming. To our listeners, every Wednesday you want to tune in 7:30 Central Standard Time. My name is Randy White. I'm a by profession. I'm a mortgage broker and real estate investor. If you're interested in learning about investing in real estate or just have some questions, reach out to me. Definitely, you're looking to purchase a home or refinance or do anything commercial or real estate. I'm your guy you can reach out to. So thank you once again.
Okay, Mr. Dix, last word from you to our audience, to all those out there been listening to you for the last 1 hour. What is your parting message to them?
Thanks for having me on your podcast to learn about my business. And in conjunction to the t-shirt and apparel business, look for in the future Bubba D Meals on Wheels, which
Hmm.
hopefully will be a food truck that's selling some cassava leaf, potato greens, and all because I cook. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's it. Okay.
That's
Well,
a
with
good
that,
point.
folks, with that, folks, you have heard that, right? Oh, Kasali, food truck. Whoa, okay.
Well,
That's a
I call it
that's
meals on wheels, just like the
Meals
other
on
food
Wheels. That's a
trucks.
good one. African Meals on Wheels. Okay, that's a
There
good
you
one.
go.
Okay. Okay, folks. Well, folks, that's it for the night. We see you guys next week Wednesday for our business segment, and we'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30. So thank you all, and you all have a good night.
Night,
All right,
Thanks for having me. Good
sharing
Yep.
night.
our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong whenever